Excellent.
I have a question.
Yes, hi.
Because Deb and I were talking about how that first take, you always feel so nervous. Like, do you have any tips or anything to try to settle in a little bit more for the first take?
Have you tried putting yourself on tape and watching it back?
No. Well, I guess I have, like, before doing like a class like this.
Mm-hmm.
But then for some reason I get all worked up like right before. Like even the last ones we did, I was like, I felt like the first one was just garbage. And then once you get the first one out of the way, like you're so much more settled. But it's like, how do you not screw up the first one?
It's everyone's their own worst critic. And I know this is probably not the answer you want to hear. Experience. I feel like the more you do it, it's chipping away at those nerves and building the awareness and the confidence that you can absolutely 100% do this. And I think that first audition, that first take, it's tough because when we're in class or when we're doing this, you know, how often are we performing live? Are you doing it every day? No.
Yeah.
If we were doing it every day, you would be able to see that progression so much more. But I think it's just a matter of doing it. Like think of when you started your very first audition versus auditioning now. It's you've learned so much more. You know people in the audition room. You know how to get off book. You're more confident about prepping roles. So that journey again is different for everyone, but you know, just having that audition mindset and that confidence. But one way to approach it is to put yourself on tape, watch it back. Mm-hmm. And that will kind of put something in your brain where it's like, I've seen myself do this. I totally know I can do this. Or watch your tape back and think, oh, I want to make an adjustment. I didn't really like that moment. And it's just a matter of learning how to trust yourself, which there's no one answer for everyone. And it's something you need to discover for yourself. And I think I believe it's a matter of consistently doing the work, consistently practicing, consistently getting feedback, and consistently trying. And that comes with experience and also confidence. I mean, I know as actors, we're sensitive. I mean, this is our self where, you know, layers of ourself and our life come through in every role that we do, what we bring to it, you know, comes from our minds, our imaginations, our experiences, how we see life, people we've met, jobs we've had, relationships we've had, heartbreak we've had. And that can be vulnerable, but also when you, I mean, and I'm sure all of you can attribute to this, when you have a good audition or when you are in class, when you are working with a casting director and they see something in you or they see what you can do or they see your work and they help you build that confidence. I know for me, that is huge. Just to be able to grow in my craft and know that people believe in me and that they've seen me do the work. It helps me trust myself. So that's kind of my process, but also knowing that, you know, that has to come from within me too. That's why I'm consistently learning. I read books, I put myself on tape, I watch it back. All of those things I can do for myself as long as in combination with working with other people. I think that's how we grow when we kind of beat those audition nerves and that shit first take where it's, I mean, it's just like writing. Everyone says your first draft, just tell yourself this is going to be shit. And then you go back and you work on it. And a good casting director, I think, knows that. How many times have you gone in to an audition? You do your first take and they're like, okay, thank you. I can't think of one time that's ever happened to me.
Right.
They know that sometimes the first take is to work out the kinks or to give you adjustments, or maybe you prepped and you interpreted the scene a little differently.
Or to see if they can take a direction too.
Exactly. Exactly. So, and I think having that mindset where it's like, well, it doesn't matter with self-tapes because you can do it a million times. You know, your submission is, that's the gloriousness of a self-tape, is you can prep and you can do it as many times as you have time for. But also, maybe it's just telling yourself when you go into the audition room, you know, I've done this, I've done the work, I've showed up for my craft, I've prepped, I know my lines. These are the beats I want to hit. Whew, I need to just trust myself in this moment and go for it. But also, I'm going to get to do it again.
Right.
Because 99.9% of the time, you're going to get to do it again. Mm-hmm. So those jitters and whatnot. So that stress or that feeling that you're holding on to of like, how do you get rid of that? I know actors who have been in the business forever and they still get like, you know, they'll walk in and they'll see, you know, actors that they admire who've been in the business longer for them at the same audition. And you can't, I mean, when something means something to you and it's important to you and it's your art, and that's one of the reasons I love this too. And I love auditioning. It's because how often do you feel alive like that? Where it's like that reminder of you're alive. Like, holy shit, I feel nervous. Like I have a nervous stomach. Like, where's the bathroom? Like, oh my God. It's like your body, but also I think telling yourself too that, you know, this means something to me. Wow. You know, life, how many people go through life and they go to the same job and they do the same thing and never put themselves on the edge like that. So give yourself credit for like putting yourself on the edge of your comfort zone. Just recognizing all those things and not, instead of thinking of it as a negative. Like, oh, this is, you know, why am I feeling this way? I need to nail it my first take. It's like all of these things are I feel are good things and things we can learn from and grow from, and it will ultimately change the more you do it. I mean, I remember my first audition, and when I think of that compared to how I feel going to the audition room now, it's like night and day, but I still, you know, as I'm sitting there and I can hear someone going before me and maybe they've prepped it differently how I've prepped it, or they're saying the lines differently. It's like, you know, you start to feel that like, oh, I'm up next. Shit, am I going to do? Oh, it's like, you can do what you can do. No one's going to be able to do it like you. No one's going to say it like you. No one looks like you. You go in there and you do your thing. And if it fits, it fits. But you had the opportunity to do your art. Obviously, they believe in you. They want to see what you can do because they called you in. There are so many people who submit for roles who don't even get called in. And I think a lot of actors too, they like, oh, I get an audition. I don't book anything. The audition is the win. There's so many people who don't even get the audition, or like the callback. People call themselves the callback queens. I got a callback. I didn't book. You're getting called back. You're doing your job. You know, maybe you look like the director's ex-girlfriend who he can't stand. You know, maybe they're trying to put a family together and they need all redheads. Like, you don't know. Like, there's so many other factors that are not in your control. But what you did control, you nailed. You did your job. You got a callback. You got an audition. You know, so your assets. I know I'm rambling. I feel so passionate about all of this though. When actors, you know, say that, oh, audition nerves or whatnot, it's like, try to flip it in your brain where it's like, it's not a negative. One, I haven't been sitting on my ass for weeks before this audition. I've been practicing my craft. I've been showing up. I've been trying to learn a new technique, develop my technique, put myself out there. And this means something to me. And I have the opportunity to do my art. So I'm nervous, and maybe this first take is going to be rough, but they're going to give me adjustments and I'm going to get to do it again.